Welcome back, JD Parker students, to another day of virtual learning. Today is our 38th day of virtual school, and it is Thursday, May 21st. And we are continuing onwards with our getting ready for 5th grade. Today we're going to review place value, and then we're going to jump into gridding and coordinates. This picture right here is Monument Valley in Utah. Gorgeous place. I hope you get to visit it one day. So let's jump right into this. Yesterday, we went over place value, and it is important that you do remember the place value chart. In the place value, it moves up by tens, or it can be divided as it moves down by tens. The decimal point, which is found between the parts and the wholes, it separates the ones from the tenths. It's also a mirror. Remember, it's ones, tens, hundreds, comma, ones, tens, hundreds, comma, ones, tens, and so on and so forth. But on the opposite side, it goes backwards. So there is no ones because ones means it's a whole, but there's a tenths, a hundredths, a thousandths, and so on and so forth. It would be a complete mirror, then a 10,000ths, then a 100,000ths, then a 1,000,000th place. But it goes up by 10 times 10 each spot, because every time you regroup, when you have more than 9, you have a 10, you have to regroup. So that's why it goes up by 10. It goes up by 10 each time. And then when you have to go next door because you're subtracting, you take away a 10 and you bring it back and break it up. So we went over place value. And this is something we did in the beginning of the school year, and we spent quite a bit of time on this because this is extremely important, understanding the place value chart and how it works in all the different places. So there are 3 different forms that you're going to be working with nowadays. There's the standard regular form. There's the word form, which you use language, English language. And there's expanded form, where you break apart every single digit into its place value. Another reason you have to know place value. So you only had, I believe, 6 problems to do yesterday because we did the rest. So number 1 was done. Number 2 says 50,003,087. Well, first of all, I realized they did not mention hundreds. You see that? That's 87. It didn't mention hundreds. So hundreds is going to be 0. 3,000. Well, 3 would be in the ones place value. So this is a 1,000 place value here, and then 50 million. So I want to do standard form first. 50 million, 3,000. So I put a 3 in the 1,000s place. 87. 87. It said no hundreds. There were no 10,000s or no 100,000s. So this is how you write 50 million, 3,087. And there are no parts. In 5th grade, you will have to also combine in the parts, the tenths and the hundredths place. So this is standard form. This is word form. The other way we're going to write it is expanded form. So you're going to take each digit and break it up. So this is a 5, and you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. So this is still 50 million. Now there's none in the 1,000,000th place. There's also none in the 100 or the 10,000s place. But the next place is the 3 1,000s place. So I'm now going to write 3 in the thousands place. And if you're not exactly sure how many zeros that would be, you just count. So I have a 3, comma, 1, 2, 3 places. So 3, comma, 1, 2, 3. And the next digit I see, well, there's no hundreds, is an 8 and a 7. But this is an 80 and this is a 7. So plus 80 plus 7. And then that one is done. So you have your word form, standard form, expanded place value form. Here they did expanded for you. So I'm going to put it back together now. So I see a 60 million. This is 400, ones, tens, hundred, and the thousands place. This is 2 in the hundreds, so my thousands are done. Remember, the commas separate each period. So I have a 200 and a 30, then a 9. So this is 60 million plus 400,000 plus 20 plus 30 plus 9. 60,400,239. Now to write that out, it would look like this. So we have 60,400,239. And they all say the same thing as you read them. Also, you have your hyphen between the tens and the ones place because it becomes one word. 39 it's 2 words, but when you combined it together, it sounds like one. It sounds like one word. And then the next one, we have 70 in the millions house. We also have an 8 in the millions house. So this is going to be a 78. Then we have a 20 in the thousands house, which there means there's no hundreds. And then we just have an 8 in the ones periods here. So just an 8. And all the rest is zeros. So here's your 78 million. This is 70 million plus 8 million is 78 million. 20,000, and there's no other thousands, so it's there all by itself. 8. And here is the word form, 78 million. Notice I hyphened the tens and the ones place again, 78. 78 million, 20,008. Now, after you say the period, you need to have a comma. So I know when I'm done with the millions place, the hundreds, the tens, and the ones, all in the millions, I put a comma. When I'm done with the thousands period, the hundreds, the tens, and the ones, I put a comma because it separates the periods or the houses. And here you have 20 million, 11,000, 12. So 20 goes in the millions place, so you're going to have a comma, 11 in the thousands place, and 12, which means zeros go in those hundreds. There are no hundreds. If there was, you would have to actually use the word hundred too. So this is 20 million, 11,000, 12. In an expanded form, it would look like this. Here is your 20 million. It's a 2 in the tens million. Then you have a 1 in the 10,000s. Then you have a 1 in the 1,000s. Then you have a 10 in the tens place, and you have a 2 in the ones place. So each digit gets broken apart. So 20 million, 10,000, 1,000, 10, 2. All added together gives you that. And then down here, you had to find the value of the underlying digit. Well, it's a 9. So you know it's worth 9, but what is it worth? Tens, thousands. Well, this is 100. So you just count it and you write it. That's a 900. This 9 is worth 900. Here is a 7. What is this 7 worth? Well, you can count all these digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need 7 zeros here after the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's ones, tens, hundreds, comma. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma. So what is this 7 worth? What is its value? Well, it is 70 million. It's in the tens place in the millions period. And we already did the last. Yesterday's word of the day was here, and I told you to write it right here. And then I already gave you the answer to the word to the problem, which was cats. There's more cats than dogs. Today we're going to do something new, and it's actually something I do enjoy doing. It's gridding and locating points on a grid. So the way I always teach this is like an airplane. And I know this is not a very good drawing of an airplane. It looks more like a shark than an airplane. But the way I always teach this is I use the airplane. If you've never been on an airplane, don't worry. I was in my 30s before I ever got on the first airplane, and it was a very interesting experience. An airplane, when you taxi to a runway, which means it drives to a long road, and then you basically get pushed back in your seat by the simple force of it accelerating and taking off. But how an airplane goes is first it has to go on the runway and it has to get enough speed. And once it gets enough speed, the wind will lift the wings up and carry the airplane up. The resistance from the wind will catch on the wings and then it'll make it rise. But it doesn't happen until it runs along the strip, the airplane strip here, before it runs along there, and it has to go really fast. And then it rises. So airplane has to run down the strip and then it rises. And I told you that whole story just so you remember to run before you rise. Run, then rise. So how you do this, it's really fascinating. So eventually you're going to see it in a 4-quadrant type form, with this being a 0, 0. And you're going to go this way just to start with. You are only going to deal with this to start with, but eventually you'll hit negatives, which are here and here. And then when you hit double negatives over here, when both of them are negative, but you are going to start in this coordinate right here. So you have to run and then you rise and then you put your dot wherever it's at. For instance, it says here, here's your coordinates, 5, 9. You're going to run 5, you're going to rise 9. So here they actually gave you numbers. Aren't they nice? Sometimes they won't give you numbers and sometimes they'll skip count by 2, 10, 5, but here you're just going to go by ones. Here's your 0, 0. Run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the 5. Rise 9. Go all the way up to C9, and that's where you stop. So the first coordinate, which is run 5, rise 9. Run 5, rise 9 is A. And that is what we are doing today. And if you copy down these answers, I am going to give them all to you today. So your paper should be super easy to do. So you might want to pause it to make sure you have a paper and a pencil so that you can write this down. The next one says, what terminal is located at 8, 3? Remember, we run, then we rise. 8, 3. So run over 8, rise 3. That's C. C. And it's that easy. Run and then rise. So the first question says, to graph the point 6, 3, where do you start? Well, you always start at 0. You start at 0. At 0. Next question. In which direction, and by the way, it's written like this. I should have done that to start with. 0 over, 0 up. So this says I didn't go over at all, and I didn't go up at all. So I'm still at 0, 0. This is my starting point. In which direction and how many units will you move first? Well, I'm going to run to the right. Run, right, 6, because it says 6. So I'll go right to here, 6. Run. Now, what do you do next? Rise 3. 1, 2, 3. So this coordinate right here that I just marked is 6, 3. 6, 3. Describe the steps and record them on the grid. Oh, okay. Well, you start here, 1, 2, 3, and then you make a little dot there. On this question right here, I want you to write the word of the day. Number 1 is going to be run. Run. All you have to do is type run. And the second word of the day is going to be rise. Run, then rise. Run, rise. So you run along the bottom, then you rise up. So here are 2 words of the day. Number 2, for each grid, use the grid for the exercise. Write the ordered pair for each point. A, where is A? A is right here. So I run first. I see it's going to be on the 2. And when I rise, it's on the 4. So A is 2, then 4. This is how you type this. 2, comma, 4. I already put the parentheses in the comma. 2, then a 4. B. Here's B. So it goes to 4, 5. 4, 5. And I already put the parentheses in the comma. So you're going to go over 4, up 5. C. Way over here. So it looks like we run to the 9 and we go up just 1. 9, 1. D. Ooh, good one. So we're going to run to the 3, but it doesn't look like it goes anywhere. It stays on the ground. So that is what you call 3, 0. It did not go up. So this is the X, and this is the Y axis here. You really don't need to know this, but Mr. Khan might tell you these, so I want you to understand when they're referring to X, they're talking about the run. When they're referring to Y, they're talking about the rise. And that's because when you when you say your alphabet, it's X, then Y, followed with Z last, which is another dimension. But X, Y, so you do X, and then Y, you do run, and then rise. All right, now we have E, which is right here. So it looks like it's on the 7 vertical, 6 horizontal. 7 is 6. F is right here. 7, 2. And now I'm going to pause and give you a chance to write down what you think these answers are going to be. And then I will show you in just 1 second. So pause the video now and see if you can't do these without my assistance. All right, so G is 6, 8. If you go over 6 and you go up 8, you'll get to G. And then H, if you go over 1 and you go up 3, you'll get to H. Now it wants you to tell them what point it is at. So we have a 3, 8. Run 3, rise 8, you get I. 11, run 8, rise 9. Run 8, rise 9, you get J. Then we have a 1, 9. Run 1, rise 9, K. Run 0, rise 5. So when you run 0, you just don't go anywhere. Straight up 5, L. And there you go. So here, it looks like they have an in-out chart, in-out machine here. So they're telling you there are 4 photos on each page of a photo album. 4 photos on each page. 4, 8. So they skip counting by 4. So the rule is going to be plus 4 or even times 4 from the top. So 1 goes in, times is 4, you get 4. 2 goes in, 3 goes in times 4, 4 goes in times 16. Write the data in the table as the ordered pairs, then graph it. Use the number of pages, the first number, and the number of the photos, and the second number in the ordered pair. So I want you to order these over here. So number of pages is going to be our run. So number of pages, this is our run, or we call it the x-axis. Here we have our y, which is the rise. So we have our 1, 4, 1 comma 4 is going to be 1, 4. And notice here they are skip counting by 2. You have to pay attention. Sometimes they'll even skip count by 10. Here you have a 2, 8. So go to 2, rise 8. And this should be very symmetrical when we're done because it is a multiplication. 3, 12, 3, 12, and 4, 16, 4, 16. So here is your line that we made. Just like that. So our coordinate points is 1, 4, 2, 8, 3, 12, 4, 16. And you have your third word of the day. The only thing I want you to write on this problem, again, is run, comma, rise. This is all I want you to write here. This right here. Word of the day. Well, actually, you had 4 words of the day because I put 2 here. So the word of the day for the word problems are identical. Run, then rise. That's all you have to know with this. And here are the answers to the rest of them. In case you are unable to pause, you can do so now. Run and rise. All right, my friends, I shall talk with you again tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be our last video like this because the following week, Monday, is a holiday. You will not log in and go to school on Monday. It's Memorial Day. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going to have activities for you to do, but they're going to be very easy. iReady activities and get caught up. If you got behind anywhere, now is your time to get caught up. And I'll also give you time for that tomorrow, being it's Friday. And then we're going to Zoom one final time next week, and we're going to try to get all the classes together for one giant grade 4, including the principal and everybody. We want to try to get everyone into Zoom. It'll be possibly about 140 people. So we're going to try to schedule that for the last day of the school year, which is a week from today, Thursday. But stay tuned for sure time and date for our big final Zoom. All right, my friends, and remember, run and rise on these coordinates here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.